Call the meeting to order. Meredith, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Randy Ruby,
Here.
Todd Horn,
Here.
Marvin Neville,
I'm here.
Bryce Shaneborn,
Here.
Dixie Weedman,
Here.
Robert Hahn.
He's on his way over. I just got a message.
Okay, thank you. Jason McMillan,
Here.
Roger Petrick, and Dennis Worko.
Here.
Timothy Westfall is excused.
Okay, we'll welcome Dixie as our new citizen member of the board. She's a sharp lady, so she'll add some insight. The guy that just walked in won't.
For those of you online, it was Mr. Hunt. Deputy Hunt.
Okay, any public comment? There's no one in the gallery. If there's someone online that likes to make a comment, *6 to unmute yourself. Hearing none, is there any communications? Staff or board members? No? We got the minutes from the June 5th meeting in 2025. Need a motion to approve. Oh, Roger's here. Hey, Roger.
He won't add anything either.
No.
Though.
Motion to approve. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion, a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Law enforcement reports, Sheriff's Department, Mr. Hahn. Busy.
We have been very busy. I guess since last we met, we've had 2 motor vehicle accidents that resulted in 3 fatalities. Also through the work that was being done on State Highway 13, we were working quite a bit with the contractors, doing that, providing extra patrol within their work zones, and things like that, especially with the flagging operations. So every chance that our patrol staff got, they were out there doing that extra patrol.
Okay. Park Falls Police Department, Marv, you have anything?
Well, we almost got our road construction done in Park Falls, so that's good. They're just in the process of painting all the lines and stuff like that. We did have one CMV crash last month, but luckily it only resulted in a minor injury to the driver of a passenger car.
That it? State Patrol, Timothy Westfall, I don't think he's here. Is he online? No? Okay. The DOT, Bureau of Transfer Safety, Mr. Horn.
So last time we met, June 5th, I ran some numbers as far as the number of crashes in Price County. We're at 58 crashes since our last meeting. This is inaccurate because I don't think you guys have downloaded the latest fatal crash in the system yet. So this shows 1 fatal. We actually have more than that, but I'm going by crashes, not by number of people killed. So we have 1 fatality, 17 injuries. So next time we meet, next quarter, I'm going to be talking about a new system, a new addition to community maps. Currently right now, you can look up all kinds of information in regards to crashes. But if the county and or, Park Falls or any other municipality wants to opt in, and that opportunity is going to be there very soon, you can opt into the new Wistar program, which allows you to have your traffic stops, so your citations and your warnings, placed on the board as well. So what you could do is look and see where you could select one of the flags such as speeding and see where all your speeding related crashes are. Anyone that's going too fast for conditions or speeding or aggressive, whatever it is, the crashes will show up on the map. And then if you opt into the Wistar program, which is minimal work for your secretaries to do, it'll just automatically go with tracks. you can then search all of your speed related traffic stops. So you can see, hey, we got a lot of crashes in this particular part of the county, but we have almost zero enforcement, or maybe we have tons of enforcement over here and we need to spread it out. So that's coming next time. But in the meantime, what I want to do is just as a parting shot, just go over community maps and all that it offers. So training and help, that's the tab that's selected right there. And it goes over training videos. And I've talked about this before, but it'd be a good opportunity for like the PDs or the sheriff's office, state patrol to get extra training for their staff. Also, a lot of times people have questions about how to properly fill out a DT 4000, and people kind of shake their heads and go, no, I've been doing this for 20 years. And sometimes that's the problem. You've been doing it for 20 years and you really haven't been trained the right way. So I review a lot of crash reports and you guys do a good job. But there's always room for improvement. So there's training videos there. And then below that would be user guides, crash flag definitions, community maps, predictive analytics, how to use it, things of that nature. This is an example of a video that would be done to explain the difference between failure to stop and failure to yield. Failure to stop, you blew through the stop sign, and failure to yield, you stop, but then you pull out in front of somebody. Sounds simple, but on the DT 4000, sometimes it's very hard to tell the difference. Moving on, TSC resources, that's that tab right there I have highlighted. Goes over items such as the TSC toolkit, regional contact information, who's who with the TSCs in the state. TSC guidelines, there's statutory guidelines that you really should be following. So it would be handy to look over those once in a while and see how your membership is and how your minutes are done and your agendas and things of that nature. But it goes into the Wisconsin Strategic Highway Safety Plan and also legislative summary. You can look at, see where all the different bills are at within the state. There's a teen driver safety presentation. If you got to talk with kids at school, it's all there waiting for you in PowerPoint. And then there's also a seatbelt survey that you can, it's actually kind of fun. Some of the driver's ed classes have done it where you download an app and you can sit on the side of the road and keep track of how many people have their seatbelts on or not. And it's interesting to see the numbers, how they work out. But that's the teen driver safety that I was explaining. The last one is dashboard. I've used this a lot before, and it's so handy and quick to get all kinds of information. Literally, you just punch in the county, maybe the municipality, and the time frame. So right here, the dark blue is year 2024. That just was finalized because it usually takes about a half a year after the year is up for it to be finalized. So June, July, it's usually done. And so what I did here is just show you how you can compare 1 year to maybe even the average of 3 years and where we're at. And overall, when we're looking at Price County, your numbers appear to be going in the correct direction over the, in 2024 alone compared to the 3 previous years, ticking up a little bit on 65 plus drivers, but you're below on teen and speed. So that's great. So you guys can look at this later and you can explore on dashboard on community maps as well. So moving on, law enforcement phlebotomy. This is a program that I talked about before as well. And just to give you an update on it, 3 certification classes have occurred throughout the state. And we currently have 20 LEPs active across the state. They started out with drug recognition experts. And it's a short class. It's the basic phlebotomy. You're not going to be considered a real phlebotomist as far as a hospital is concerned, but it's basic for people that are in good, healthy condition and no issues that would cause problems. But anyway, since August of 24, we've had 120 blood draws. Participating agencies have reported to significant time savings. And I've said this before, if you have a good working relationship with the hospital in your community or you don't have long delays, this might not be for you. But if you have to drive a county or 2 over, or you're getting long delays, or you have a person that's unruly and they're yelling and screaming while grandma's having a heart attack in the next room over, it's kind of nice just to take them up to your jail. And that's where I see the advantage is jail staff being trained in, because then you can literally bring the subject in. The jail deputies can handle the blood draw, and you guys, can move on. Either they get released or based on their charges. So just something to think about. There are new classes coming up if you are interested, January and May of 26, and Amy Miles's information is in here. Again, I will forward the slides to everyone. So if you're interested, she would be the contact person going forward.
Hey, Todd, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Has there been any challenges in court yet with this?
I have not heard of any. Don't know why there would be, but of course they're all very inventive. They find new ways to challenge, but I have not heard of any. That doesn't mean there hasn't been, but there's been so few. Really, it's pretty simple. The person is trained. They draw the blood. You know, they can be pulled into court, obviously, to testify, and that's one of the issues we're running into right now with a lot of the analysts. Is, you know, blood gets sent off, and then they leave employment with the state, and then they're trying to subpoena them, and they're trying to find someone else to sit in place of them at these court proceedings. So I know there's some challenges in higher courts as far as finding replacements, you know, for people that actually analyze the blood. But for phlebotomists, I've not heard of anything. Okay. So moving on, wrong way driving. I've talked about this before as well. Every quarter, like I was saying before, we get a new topic from the engineers with the state. And this is just continuing to be a hot topic. Some parts of the state have a lot of, you know, 4-lane roads where it's 2 lanes and there's maybe a median, but they have cross traffic with no, you know, there's no overhead, you know, just in order to separate the traffic. So what's going on is some people are going down the wrong ramps. And so like 151, you know, Madison through Dodge County up through the Fox Cities, Highway 10 over on in Wood County, Portage County, that area, and then also 151 over by like Iowa and Grant County. This is a big issue, and there's been a lot of, you know, media, you know, attention towards wrong way driving. But there is a task force in the state, and they are mostly concerned about divided freeways and highways on the state trunk network. And this is an example of a side-by-side ramp. So you can see if someone isn't paying attention, they're drunk, they're tired, they could go up the wrong ramp. So this is the correct ramp to go on. This is the one coming off, and that's a prime example of wrong way driver waiting to happen. So wrong way driving crashes often involve more impaired motorists. They occur more at night and on weekends. They involve senior drivers and the driver entering from a side-by-side ramp, which is like the one that is displayed. And they, of course, result in more serious injuries and fatalities based on, you know, vehicles meeting head on. Since Wisconsin's been tracking wrong way drivers, we've had 4,500 reported. That's, I'm sure, a minor slice of what actually has occurred, but you can see in that pie chart up there, a vast majority of the wrong way drivers are reported by law enforcement. So someone's calling 911 to dispatch, or maybe a patrol squad sees what is occurring. So with the DOT, what they have been working on are wrong way driving treatments. So you have these very expensive intersections that are created on and off ramps, and some have, you know, challenges that others don't, land available or the topography of the land or the number of vehicles that are traveling. But here are some examples of treatments that they would complete. So the yellow arrows here show you they will install additional signs or mount signs lower based on impaired driver's sight. Drunk drivers tend to look very low, and so placing some signs lower hopefully will help. You can see on the pavement there's a white arrow painted. That's supplemental pavement markings trying to tell people you're going the wrong way. They install blinker lights on wrong way signs. You can see the lights on there. And then also they'll put additional delineation or stripes or reflective material on the post just to stand out that much more. Also, there are alert detection systems. Currently, the only ones in the state are in Milwaukee. However, I know Marathon County, which is one of my counties, and there's another county too that's getting some of these devices. And really what it is it's, I suppose they probably differ in technology between some of them, but essentially what it is it's a radar unit that picks up the fact that a vehicle is going down the wrong way, and then the TMC is notified that, hey, there's a wrong way driver. They'll contact the jurisdiction, you know, that's associated with that. So that's the traffic management center. So really anytime that you have a traffic issue in the county, your dispatch center should be calling the TMC. So if you have Highway 13 shut down due to a crash, they should be contacted to let everyone know that, hey, Highway 13 shut down. And then when it's opened up, call them again. Same thing with wrong way drivers. Even if the wrong way driver has been located, it's good to call them to let them know, hey, we had a wrong way driver. It's been, taken care of. We stopped them and whatnot. So, and if you have any questions, the email here, Kevin, you can contact him about any wrong way driving concerns. This is kind of hard to see because of what we have the setup here, but in 2001 is the year up at the upper left-hand corner, all the way down to 2025, and 25 is in red. These are fatal crashes or fatality totals, I should say, and they're set up by milestones. So at the top, you can see 100 all the way over to 800, and then each year it'll show you the date where we reach those milestones. So an example is in 2025 at the bottom in red, we reached 300 on July 28th. Now, if you take a look up ahead at 2003, you can see July 2nd already we're at 400. So we were probably about 450 at the end of July in 23, and we were over 800 fatalities compared to over 500 last year. So just something interesting to see. So I'll move on to the fatals in Price County. Like I said before, I do not have the most recent fatal. I have really no information on that. So if Bob wants to talk about it, he certainly can. I really have very little to add because it's not in community maps. But I'll go over the one that I do have, and that would be at 182 at Cedar Rapids Road. That's in Eisenstein Township, Price County on August 14th. So this would have occurred on August 14th at 2:25 p.m. And here's a map of where it occurred, and then also some information from community maps. There was total 1 vehicle involved. So this is the diagram that the deputy would have completed on the left. And on the left, I wrote a small summary. Unit 1 was eastbound on Highway 182 when the vehicle began to veer off the roadway into the south ditch. Unit 1 continued eastbound and eventually struck the ditch of Cedar Rapids Road. The vehicle, went up in the air, landed, rolled several times with the driver being ejected. Here's a satellite overview of the crash scene. Street view. So roadway conditions, we had dry conditions on the road. The roadway was straight and level, daylight, no roadway factors or, any issues with the road that were identified. We had clear skies, and the speed limit was 55 miles per hour. 1 vehicle non-collision. It was a 15 Jeep Renegade, 1 occupant, 29-year-old female, fatal injury, no medical transport, unknown on safety equipment. But probably not on a belt if we don't know. Airbags deployed, not trapped, not extricated, was ejected. Not sure if they had intoxicants. I didn't see anything in the report that showed that one way or the other. No tests given. Unknown undistracted. And failure to stay in lane, failure to control was the issue at hand. If you have any more information, Bob, on that, or...
I guess with that crash as well as the latest fatal, they're both active investigations, so I don't think it would be appropriate to
Okay.
talk about it.
Yep. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks.
Do you want to take a minute and talk about the community maps? Because we do have new members.
Sure.
Just 1 minute. You don't have
Let
to
me,
go into detail.
I just stopped sharing, of course.
You say it a lot, and then the new members are probably like, what is this?
What is community maps? Okay. There it is right there. Okay. So I'm going to do an edit search. So community maps is a program that started probably, 15 years ago. And what it does is whenever anyone from the Price County Sheriff's Office or Park Falls Police Department completes a crash report, we call it DT 4000, lots of fields to fill out, lots of information. It gets submitted on tracks and it goes down to the state, and then it's in their data system. Community maps is a data search, essentially. So what it allows us to do is go in and enter certain criteria and find crashes. So I'm going to give an example. If you want to watch the screen there, here we are, Price County, and we're going to do a search. Let's do a search that goes back one year essentially. And I'm going to look at fatal crashes and serious injury crashes that were speed related. Okay. So once again, we're searching from June of 24 until today's date. That says 12/31. That's just going to search, until it has no more data. So we're going to look at fatalities and serious injuries, but I could check minor, possible, or just like what we call like fender benders, no apparent injury. And I can pick bike, distracted, government property, impaired. I just pick speed this time, but it can also have other flag filters such as aggressive, ATV, UTV, commercial motor vehicle, lane departure, school bus. Okay. And I could also pick, I want to know which ones are intersection related. If I don't, or I'll just leave it be. I can search by interstate, US highway, state highway, county highway, or local road. And then I can also include or exclude car deer crashes. And I hit search. And this thing is probably going to be slow because I didn't run it for a little bit, and there's probably plenty of data there, but might take just a second. But essentially, that's the most beneficial part of community maps is we can search traffic data. So then when it does show up, I can click on an individual crash as it gets plotted on the map. And if I wanted to, I could pull that crash report up and look at every single detail of that crash report statewide. So it doesn't have to be, just your county. And of course, now that I'm doing this thing doesn't want to work.
And this is just an online.
Yeah. The only catch is anyone can go on community maps and do this on their own and look up crash documents. The difference is you have to be on a traffic safety commission or a police department or maybe a highway department or fire, something that has to do with traffic safety. Then you get what's called the advanced tab, which is up here. Then you can actually look at the actual crash reports. If you're just looking as a citizen, you'll get information, you just won't get as much. But then there's such things as predictive analytics. So we use this to punch in information. Maybe we want to know a certain area in Price County on Highway 13 from Park Falls to Phillips. Where are we likely to get crashes over the next few years? And we can enter information on that, and it'll show a heat signature map saying, hey, we think these are where the crashes are going to occur in these types and things of that nature. We also use that for grants and things. But this is what I was talking about before with the dashboard. This is how you would look up information. So you can come down here on Price County. And then if you wanted to, you could go to a municipality and look at Park Falls, and this is what I did. I compared, 3 years from 2024. That's like what I showed earlier. I don't know if this is going to work because I think I have to log off and on again. Oh, there it goes. So there's Park Falls. And from 2024 to 3 years, that's kind of what we were looking at before. But let's see. Is that kind of what you're looking for? This is the TSC resources I was talking about. This is training and help. Administration. You can change. This is kind of cool too. So your manager preferences, I don't think anyone's seen this before, but what you can do is pick your county of Price County. And every time you bring up community maps, it'll automatically go to Price County and say, well, I live in the city of Phillips. So every time you bring this up, it's going to automatically autofill to Price County and Phillips. And then you just say save preferences. So the next time I bring it up, it's going to automatically be Price County, Phillips. So that's the 5-cent tour right there, if that makes sense. You bet.
Thank you, Todd. Traffic safety engineer, Randy.
Okay. Do you have my?
Oh,
slides
yes, I
for this
do.
one?
I sure do.
Sorry.
Give me 2 seconds here.
I know I got him doing my slides for me.
Let's see. Where'd my window go? There we go. Share. No, that's not the one I want. Give me 2 seconds here.
Yep, you're good.
There we go. And share. There we go. Slideshow. Begin.
Okay, so my name's Randy Ruby, traffic operations engineer with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. My office is in the Rylander office, and I have a few construction project updates to go over with you guys, as well as a couple operational and safety assessments. We can go to the next slide. This is Wisconsin 511. If you would like extended project information or updates on road construction projects in Price County, you can visit this website to get more details. And we'll jump into the construction projects here. On Wisconsin 13, there's a 1.9 mile pavement replacement in Phillips. Construction scheduled started May 15th and is to end August 15th, which has passed. So it should be completed. And we can go to the next one. Also on Wisconsin 13, a 2.2 mile pavement replacement in Park Falls, which was scheduled to run from June 27th to September 4th. So that is today, I believe. Well, yeah, so I did contact the project manager and she said September 4th was the day to end it. So does anyone know if that one has been completed on the day?
I think
Okay.
So they have some shouldering to do. All the asphalt was finished today, but other than that, same thing with Phillips. They still got some punch list items to go over. So
Okay, yep. Sounds about right. Okay. And oh, you can go to the next slide. Also on Wisconsin 13, from County F to Walnut Street, there was a 12.5 mile pavement resurfacing between Phillips and Fifield, scheduled from May 30th to August 4th. I'm sure there's some wrap up details on this one in process right now as well. And we can go to the next one. Here's one that's still ongoing. Wisconsin 111, 10.6 mile pavement resurfacing between Catawba and Wisconsin 13, scheduled from August 4th to September 11th. The contractor is Pitlick and Wick. For traffic control, Wisconsin 13 will remain open to traffic during most of construction with single lane closure and flagging operations. During the construction period, access to residents and businesses will be maintained at all times. And there is a detour, US Highway 8 to Wisconsin 13 detour between August 4th and August 15th, which has passed already, but and we have one more here. Wisconsin 102, a 6 mile pavement resurfacing between Rib Lake and Spirit, scheduled August 29th to September 16th. Contractor American Asphalt. For traffic control, Wisconsin, there's a mistake there, but it will remain open to traffic during construction with single lane closures and flagging operations. Access to residents and businesses will be maintained at all time. Oh, just kidding. We have a county project. There's also a bridge replacement. Sorry. Scheduled August 4th to November 17th. Contractor is Sheet Filling Service. County O is closed during this construction period. Road closure signs will be placed at adjacent intersections and alternative routes are available. And now we can get into some safety assessments. So I think I talked about this last meeting that we had, but there is a speed zone evaluation on Wisconsin 13. I collected data in the beginning of May, and this study was brought to us in hopes of lowering the speed zone In the south from 40 miles per hour to 35, and then the northern speed zone from 45 to 35. Right now, from the data that I got from this, the natural driving speeds are consistent with the current posted limits, but we have yet to finalize the report. So hopefully the report will be presented at the next TSC meeting. The segmental crash length found it to be operating within safety norms compared to similar roadways as of now. We can go to the next slide. Here is a little bit more detailed look. In the northern and southern portions, you can see the 85th percentile. Speeds are 48 in the north and 47 in the south. So again, consistent with the current posted limit. We also take a look at several different factors when deciding whether or not to lower a speed limit on a segment. 85th percentile, we look at roadway context, traffic volume, land use, crash history, land development, and like I had mentioned, the report will be finalized and presented at the next TSC meeting December 4th. So we'll have an answer for you guys by then. You can go to the next slide. And then I did get an email from Tony Chemnitz, our traffic safety engineer in the Wisconsin Rapids office. He forwarded me an email from Roger Petrick from asking to go over this crash intersection and requested the DOT take a look at safety for this intersection, which we will be doing. Right now, the traffic report is not available, so we don't have much information on the crash that occurred here. Of course, this is the fatal at Wisconsin 13 at Wisconsin 111. I did speak with the RIMC on call, the Regional Incident Management Coordinator, when this crash occurred, and she stated to me that there was 2 fatalities, but that's all the information I know right now. I did take a look at crashes here, and this is a flagged location. It has a loss of 3 and a KBC of 4. So we definitely want to look into this further. And me and Tony Chemnitz, the safety engineer, are going to be looking at this intersection in the next couple weeks and have a report to be presented at the next TSC meeting to see if there's anything we can do here in terms of safety. So
I have a question. Can
Sure.
you explain the loss of 3 in the KABC 4?
Sure. Well, I actually don't do the statistics for these. This comes from Wisconsin Rapids, so I don't create the statistics, but they do a region-wide statistical analysis of intersections all across the state of Wisconsin, and they combine them all. And I get a report sent to me that states the loss of an intersection. For example, like the highest loss is 4 and the highest KBC is also 4. So that would be like a heavily flagged intersection that we take a look at every year. Me and my colleagues, I think there's the top 40 intersections that we look at and determine if there's any safety improvements that we can do to them. So this intersection in particular was on that top 40 list, and so we want to take a look and see what we can do to improve safety here. So
Okay, thank you.
And does anyone else have any questions for?
This isn't on any of the slides, but one thing that people should be aware of, that they did post the Highway 13 by Harborview that is now posted for ATVs. So do we monitor that because I know that was a concern that it was going to be opened up.
So when we put the signs up and that's when it became open, I sent an email to the sheriff's department, Phillips Police, and the state patrol. So they're all aware that it was open to ATV traffic.
So that's just something people should be aware of. It is Highway 13. It's now, I have seen a couple UTVs using it, so it is now open to that. And then the second one, earlier it was mentioned that there was additional patrol in the construction zones this year. Did you see an increase in poor driving through construction, or is that just normal because it just happened to be here?
No, we actually, so we had met with the contractors at the beginning of the project, and they had encouraged us to, because of the flagging operations, they had encouraged us to have marked patrol cars there to slow traffic down for the flaggers. There were a couple of issues throughout the course of the project where people were, I guess, becoming very disorderly with the flaggers, especially coming through town here with the delays and things like that. So when we learned of that, that's when we were actually putting the marked cars right next to the flaggers. And of course that changed attitudes quickly. And then, we did have one issue where a flagger was actually struck by a car. So we increased the patrol there for those guys.
Because we had a county vehicle got into a tight corner down at the south end of it. So we were part of, not the problem, but an incident. I don't want to call it an accident, but incident. So that's just something to be aware of. It, if it was a bad year for construction zones, or if it was just a normal and it just happened to be in town.
Yeah, no, we just wanted to try and take a preventative approach to any issues.
So
Okay.
comment on that ATV. They're using Fayette Street or Ave, right?
Yeah, it's 100 to Fayette to cross. You cross and it's either airport or F.
Okay.
So F, then you can go to that back. What is it behind Quick Trip in front of the NTC? That's where you would go.
Pine Ridge, I think, is there something? It's Pine something or other.
The
Yeah.
request came because it was not difficult. It was out of the way to get to Quick Trip, which is for fueling from that area, because you'd have to go all the way out to Fleming Rapids, which wasn't open for a while, or you'd have to go through town to
Around airport
H to airport
and then
across. So it reduced the travel time, but significantly, 15 minutes, 15 miles out this way, or 3 to 5 miles out.
So they
the
are
opposite
they
way.
are
So-
using Fayette as N100.
correct. So it
in
should
front
be
of the school.
100
Okay.
to Fayette to
Okay.
13.
No, I'm just curious, just making sure because I got buses that run Highway 100. I just want to make sure they're aware that that is an ATV route now. So
Yeah. And I'm assuming several people are going to go straight out by it's Glass to Go is called Glass to Go, which is 100, and use that. But the intent was Fayette.
is it marked to go down Fayette?
That would be a Roger question.
So we only take care of what is on the state section.
Yeah, so that's
Highway
city.
13. So the ATV UTV club was supposed to put that additional signage on Highway 100.
Okay.
That would say route, and then you'd go
Yep.
to
And
the
then you
left.
turn left. Okay. I'm gonna check in on that and make sure it's getting done. If it hasn't been already.
And Park Falls, you've reduced the number of roads that are ATV eligible, right? Didn't you do that downtown?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
I thought there was one road you guys shut off.
They can go wherever they want,
Okay.
except on highways.
Yeah, we just changed the main route that we'd prefer them
Oh,
to
that's what
use,
it was.
but they're still open to get from point A to point B.
Okay. No other questions. That's all I have for you guys today. So,
Thanks, Randy.
yep.
School transportation report. Jason, you have anything?
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Other reports. Legal, Bryce?
Nothing.
Our new citizen member,
Nothing
how's their
to.
time to shine in the sun?
Okay, I know you spoke, talked me up a little too much there. I don't have anything to report.
Okay, and I don't have anything. Roger, you got anything?
Yeah, so I guess I'll go over just what we got going on the county side. So, the plant is, moving currently right now, it's moving from up north down to, the Kraus pit on 86. From what I'm told, it's supposed to be up and running by Tuesday. So Tuesday they'll start paving on D. So that's D just, north of 86, about 3.5 miles. And then they're gonna jump down to RRC. And then we have 3 miles on M, which is on the other side of 13, on the west side of 13. So hopefully they get our stuff done before they start on 102. So I know 102 has a timeline that they have to meet, but I guess we covered the bridge that's out. That is going quite well. I think they're currently building the second pier. So next week they'll have the center sections of beams up. So hopefully that'll be open before the November 17th deadline, the way things are going, because it is a bit of a nuisance where it's at. Other than that, so back to the community maps also, like myself, any municipality uses that as a tool for, there's funding out there. It's called Highway Safety Improvement Program. So that's why, like Todd, and, he does, stress filling out the report completely, so that if it is a safety issue, it gets recorded, it gets it on the community maps. And it's a tool for me to use to get funding for roadway improvements to help improve anywhere there's high fatalities, crashes. It doesn't even have to be a fatality, it just crashes in general. So like I got $850,000 for County Highway D, things like that. So
Roger, do you know if, because now 13's done in town for the most part, with the sidewalk project, are they going to do any flagging or anything? I mean, I guess, does Phillips know either?
I haven't talked to Jim on it.
I think that the plan, as expressed at the last meeting, is that they're going to try to do it at most one side at a time, so that there's pedestrian traffic all the way up and down on at least one side of the street. And then there were some questions as to whether or not they're going to do it like block by block instead of just tearing up the whole side, having those businesses be without a sidewalk for a week or two. That remains unanswered because they just awarded the bid on Tuesday. So they're not that far, but they did say that they're going to be doing it at least at most one side at a time, so that there's a complete sidewalk on at least one side of the street so people can get to and fro.
So pedestrians should be okay, but what about driving traffic? Do we know?
Well, I'm sure that they'll just shut down the parking lanes.
Okay.
So, I mean, as far as traffic goes, I mean, it might be a little cumbersome. You would hope that they'd have somebody out there flagging, but chances are not. If it's, it's not under a DOT contract, so they're not going to be as stringent, but not saying somebody can't come in and force them, to do something. Granted, nobody can really, even though it's not a law per se, as far as having traffic control out there. I mean, the DOT wants it, but there's no enforcement of it. There's no way for anybody to enforce it. So.
Okay. Our next meeting date is December the 4th. And unless somebody else has something, I will adjourn the meeting.